Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Zilliqa. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below in the comment section. Always happy to hear from you. Okay, so let's get into the price action here. What we were looking at initially was a few things, and we were arguing that we could look at this. So from the macro standpoint, we're still looking for the potential of forming a fourth wave here and actually looking for another drop to the downside. Basically, the target zone, we've come into it at that lower range here, that potentially we could still see a move up towards this zone here of this 43.37, looking for the potential to actually push up here one more time. We are still within this channel and we haven't managed to break it, but we're starting to squeeze now, so there's going to be some volatility in this, I think. As it starts to move closer and closer down this, it's going to need to break out at some point. So we're also not getting support coming in off of this channel, as well as these trend lines here. So if this does start to break to the upside here, we have a couple of options. Either we can look at this as a three-wave structure, and that could look at this as an A, down into these zones as a B, and then potentially looking to push up for a C wave. So this is something that we need to be aware of. And like if I just drop it onto this point here, you can see that 1-to-1 would actually look to push us up towards this 53 cent range, which would actually be back towards the top end of this previous fourth wave move here. So this could be an interesting zone if we are looking to actually push up one more time here. It is possible we could look to move up and interact with some of these high points that we have here. Alternatively, we also need to be aware that we were looking for the potential to come down lower here. So this would be an interesting zone here, this green box area, this 22452 to this 1802. So if we start to lose this channel support and then actually break through this bottom resistance line, this would be where I'd be anticipating us to get a move down to. So potentially this 50% line lines up quite nicely with this wave 4. So if we do get a break to the downside here, then effectively we could look at this as just being a more complex move here, where this is an A, a B. So it would have to be an A into here, a B and a C. So we're going to discuss that. Basically what we're looking for is the potential to break down. So actually that's the wrong one. Let's throw on this one. So for the time being, as long as we hold this high point here over here at this 32.99, I am still looking for the possibility of actually looking to break down deeper here. If we do start to break above this zone here, we'd have to see, like I said, we're starting to squeeze here, so this could look to break out. So we're going to go over breakout count as well. Although ideally, I think the potential would be more to the downside currently, looking at the other coins as well. I think we do have this potential to actually break down here and look for a deeper move here. And I'll be looking for this potentially to be a C wave as a 5-wave structure. So we'd only get confirmation off of the current structure we have if we actually get a deeper move down towards this 24-27 zone. Only by moving down below this area would we actually get that typical third wave location sort of met, and then we could look for that fourth wave. We also need to be aware that there could be some extensions going on in here where this becomes a 1-2, this becomes a 1-2, and then we actually look to break down slightly deeper here. So we need to just be careful with this. There is that potential to break to the downside here. Though for as long as we hold this channel support here, we can look for the possibility this could break to the upside. So this is sort of the way that I'm currently looking at it, and I'm looking at this potential as a flat. We can also argue that potentially this is a diagonal within here for a fifth wave. And what we'd be looking for here then is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal. So that would then give us this structure here, which could be an A. We could actually look to push up one more time. So if we do take this high, I'd be very interested to see how we react on this channel line. If we fail to break through this zone, this could offer us resistance again, where we get this move up here one more time, and then actually we look to break down for that C wave again as well. So either way, I do think that potentially we do have that possibility to break to the downside, whether we actually break from this high point here and form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or actually we push up one more time here and take this high and then actually look to break down from there. You know, we're going to have to just give it a bit of space and see how it reacts. If it does break this high, like we're going to go over the bullish count now, but ideally I want to see a move down here. We can argue that it's just gotten more complex, and actually instead of looking at it as an ABC like we were looking at it, we could argue this is a W, this is an X, and then potentially we look for a Y wave. So that's something we need to be on the lookout for. Just actually going to throw that that downside on again. Which one is this one? If we instead don't move down towards this this 1.618 to this 2442, potentially my next target would be this 2718. If we do get another move down here, we can see that would be a retest of this bottom channel here, and we would then, however, lose the channel line here that we're currently sitting in. So this trend line would be looking to get retested if we move down for that 1-to-1. From there, we would have to see what happens if we do then blast to the upside, because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points on this top. Effectively, we could look to actually break this to the upside. So, you know, this is the downside possibility. The immediate term would be this 2718 for as long as we hold this 3299. However, if we do start to break down below this point, you know, we could then be looking for this lower 2426 for a third wave, a fourth wave up, and then potentially coming into this zone. You have this 2376 to this 2274, which would actually bring us quite nicely into this zone of this previous fourth wave. If we do get a bit of extension here, this 1618 would be this 2147, which would actually bring us past that 50% mark, which would then actually bring us into this zone. So we can see that there's a couple of, this 382 is actually quite an interesting area, this line here, 2358, because it would actually be a retest of these highs over here. So that'll be interesting zone if we do move back into it. So effectively what we're looking at is for the possibility to have that successive weight to the upside. And what I'm looking for is the potential that this could actually, if we do drop down here, look for that ABC to the upside. If we fail to hold this zone though, and then we actually break down below this 1802 zone, then we'd have to argue that potentially we could have completed the fourth into this move, where this has just been an A, a B, and then we've actually finished with an ending diagonal. So this is another thing we need to just be aware of. You know, unfortunately this is very choppy, this move. At the moment it's very choppy in these subwaves. So we were talking about this previously. I actually need to turn off the one, where we could actually just see something like this play out, where this would be a an A wave up here. But I actually have to adjust this slightly, I think. No, that's right. So that would be an A wave, this would be a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 8, C wave as a diagonal, ending diagonal. And then potentially we could argue we're starting to get that move to the downside playing out. The problem is we would have actually come up here and set a new high. So we would have to actually shift this over where, let me just look at these subways. We can argue actually that this is like this, where we actually shift everything down one, and then basically the fifth wave would complete into this point, because it would still fit the structure. We'd have to then look at this as a 1, 2, this would be a 3, this is a fourth, and then this is a fifth wave here. We don't actually break this wave 2 area, so that wouldn't invalidate it. So this is still possible. I don't really like that interpretation of it though. Would be looking at it better from back here. If this is an ABC like this, however, it would probably mean that actually we're still looking at that potential of getting a flat here, where this becomes an A, B, and then we get a 5-wave move down. So I do think that this B wave or this wave 4 potentially could get retested, or alternatively these high points over here. That is still something that's sort of on the cards. Okay, so let's talk about bullish potential now. So basically looking for the bullish potential here. Okay, this is going to look a bit complex in the beginning, but we're going to go over it. So the way I'm looking at this is that the potential that this could have been a wave 1, 2, then we could have actually formed another 1, 2 here, and then effectively what we'd be looking at is, so the problem with this move is we'd have to say this was a diagonal, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an expanding diagonal at that. So, you know, there's not a lot of confidence in this until it actually proves itself. So what we'd want to see within this count, looking for this bullish option, is basically looking at this as a 1, flat for a 2, and then looking for the potential that this is actually going to start to break to the upside. What we'd want to do here, if we're looking for bullish potential, is hold these lows of this 29 to 37, and we'd actually want to start to see this break these highs, and we don't want to see this break through this channel. And if we do actually break through this zone, what we'd want to see is actually a move up towards this 3806. If we start to break this and start to move to the upside here, starting to take out this 3806 zone, then we can look for an additional 4th and a 5th, which would then trigger the possibility of having this as a 1, 2. Then this would potentially move up to this zone here of this 1618 of the circled count, which could actually lead to us having an additional 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then basically this could extend out here and reach the higher end of this orange wave, looking at this as a bigger 1, 2. So this would be a very bullish count. I don't have a lot of confidence in it while I'm still looking at the potential for the other coins to break out, but there is still the possibility. So, you know, you break down rather, not the breakout, but you know, there is still this possibility we could see this extension. The key zone here is going to be this top channel line for sure, and then whether we actually manage to break up higher here, because like I said, you know, this is very corrective. We could actually still be within a B wave here where we take this high, and then actually we look to break down one more time with a 5-wave structure. So it's going to be very important to see good 5-wave structure developing here, and we want to see this start to get a lot of volume here and start to get a lot of sort of steam behind it. We want to see this sort of get more vertical in nature and sort of just move up towards this 3rd wave area if this is actually playing out. Okay, so you know, these are the possibilities we're looking at here. This could potentially lead to a bigger 5-wave structure to the upside. The thing is, if we do get this bigger 5-wave move to the upside here, it would actually look to invalidate that potential of that 4th wave, because of the fact of how steep it's come up here. We could then be looking for the potential of rather having this as an A wave. We look for a B wave and then a C wave, and then potentially look to break down if it's going to be a connector wave, or alternatively this could become the start of a trend to the upside, where this becomes a bigger 1, 2, looking for a 3rd wave to the upside, and then we're actually on the way to the races. But it's too early to say at the moment. I don't have a lot of confidence in this count just because of the sheer correctiveness that we've got going on in here. It's not making a lot of sense currently, so we'll have to just see. If, like I said, what we'd want to see is maintaining these higher lows here, and we'd want to start to break these highs, and we want to do so more substantially than we've been doing here, because we've been sort of breaking these and then falling down, breaking this high and then falling down, breaking the high and then falling down. So really we want to get through this zone and start to break to the upside. Like I said, this is starting to squeeze now. We could see this even sort of come up here again and do something like this, and then look to break out in either direction. You know, we've got to just give it a bit of space here. I think it's going to be quite vital if we're looking for that bullish case to hold this bottom channel here that we have, and then also sort of maintain these lows. If we start to lose these low points, you know, this bullish potential actually it actually goes off out of the table here. You know, if we are looking at an additional 1, 2, you know, there is potential here that you could look for this position where you come back down into this channel again, and that could be a potentially good entry point. Obviously they're not financial advice, but that's something that could be quite a good entry, because you'd be nice and close to the stop. Though we'd have to keep an eye on BTC and ETH and see what they're doing, because there is also the potential that they start to break down, because at the moment all we have is 3-wave structure here. So 1, 2, 3. We can argue that potentially there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a diagonal, come back for wave 2 and then push up. But yeah, we don't have that structure at the moment, so we just got to give it some space here. Let's have a look at this. So a 618 fib retracement would actually be down back into these low points here, right into that golden pocket. So if we do actually break down one more time, what I'd be looking for then is the potential that we could have actually had a a diagonal here where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get that move back to the downside. Though, like I said, it's very important that we hold this low and obviously the 786. If we do break below the 786 zone, it becomes more unlikely that we're actually going to get that trending move to the upside. But there is some support down here which has been supporting us for a while, but we have been bouncing around on it for quite a long period, so whether it maintains is going to be quite an important thing here. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you will find a link to Discord. Come check it out. There are big things happening from this next week, so just keep an eye on it. Also in the description you'll find a link to BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you don't have an account. If you do use the affiliate link, it does help support the channel and we do appreciate it. Okay everyone, hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.